South Carolina Outdoors with Jay Gregg.
Come.
Well, here we can't tell us a little bit about this first clip.
Well, this first clip we're going to show you is on a natural shipwreck we found a few summers ago. It's about 140 feet deep, 43 miles off the coast of Georgetown. And the wreck's always full of surprises. Marine life, it's just been amazing. You'll see when you see this next clip. It's an extraordinary place to dive.
Let's take a look.
As the captain positions the boat over the unidentified wreck, Kent and his dive partner Stephen prepare for the dive. Stephen drops a marker to assist the divers on their descent to the bottom. With the wreck's position marked, Kent and Stephen turn their attention to the dive gear, configuring and checking the equipment that they will depend upon to keep them alive in the strange and alien world they are about to visit. It's just a short drop to the cool, dark water, where a school of amberjack arrive to escort the divers to the bottom, 145 feet below. As the divers near the bottom, the wreckage comes into view. Because any wood above the sand deteriorated long ago, only an outline of the actual ship can be seen. The encrusted cargo of scrap iron remains and provides shelter for multitudes of sea creatures. It is here that Kent and Stephen will begin the hunt. Near the stern, Stephen points towards a large southern ray resting on the sand. This massive relative of the shark scours the bottom for small fish, mollusks, and crustaceans. Although quite docile, rays of this size are armed with a 12-inch long, venomous stinger that the animal can thrust into a predator with enough force to split a plank of wood. Annoyed by the diver's presence, the ray sets off on a leisurely swim. Kent and Stephen can't resist following and take off after the ray. The ray encounter is cut short when Kent spots a large grouper swimming through the wreckage, and it takes only seconds for his spear to find its mark. Kent must be careful because these powerful fish can easily throw a spear and disappear into the gloom in an instant. To lose this fish would be wasteful and tragic, so Kent and Stephen take no chances until it is securely placed on the stringer. With the grouper immobilized, Stephen fills the lift bag with a short breath. A gentle nudge sends the prize on its way to the surface, where it will be quickly retrieved by the topside crew. With one excellent fish on the boat, Kent and Stephen continue the hunt. However, both divers had no way of knowing that their fishing would soon be interrupted by a visit from some. With their safety stops completed, Kent and Stephen leave their underwater visitors and head for the boat. Unsatisfied with the brief encounter, the dolphins continue their show at the surface.
30 seconds, bam, they were around.
As the gear is stowed and the boat made ready, the dolphins surf the waves and circle the boat. Today's adventure has once again proven to be an unforgettable experience on the waters off the Carolina coast.
Hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Carolina.
For more than 30 years.
Now, Kent, you dive ledges too, don't you?
Definitely. As a matter of fact, most of our divers probably done on ledges.
Well, tell us about the bug hole.
Well, the bug hole's a spot we found a couple summers ago. The first time we dove it, there were just lobster everywhere. So we called it the bug hole. We make up our own names for these spots. Instead of having GPS numbers, we call them our own little names. But the bug hole is a wonderful spot, and you'll see why we call it the bug hole.
Well, let's go get a lobster.
Let's do it. See where the buoy is right behind me? All right. See that?
With a backwards roll, Stephen and Kent are once again on their way to the bottom. And schools of fish meet them near the surface and escort them to the rocky ledge 130 feet below. Before he even hits the bottom, Kent spots a large grouper, and without a moment's hesitation sends a spear into the wary fish. Score, a perfect shot. Kent quickly strings the fish and resumes the hunt. Further along the ledge, Kent comes to a small tunnel that inspired the name Bug Hole. A careful swim through reveals no lobster lurking inside this time. As Kent swims, the strung grouper regurgitates a bait fish, and in an ironic twist, the bait fish is once again made a meal, this time by a hungry jack. Further along, a small nurse shark is found hiding under a section of ledge. Wary of the noisy intruder, the nurse shark quickly strikes out in search of a new hiding place. An endless array of fish populate the ledge, including this beautiful lionfish. Lionfish are an invasive Pacific species, and because of their aggressive nature and lack of natural predators, a threat to the local marine environment. Kent and Stephen head up in the water column for an aerial view of the ledge as a school of amberjack pass by. Hearing the boat overhead, Kent seizes the opportunity to send the stringer to the surface. It is important to ditch the stringer whenever possible, because the weight and bulk of the strung fish slows the diver down. It also isn't a good idea to trail bleeding fish behind you in the sometimes sharky open water. Further along, another nurse shark hides beneath the ledge, only this one is larger and much less afraid. As Kent examines the lazy shark, something suddenly catches his attention, and in a flash, a spear shaft hurtles through the water and finds its mark in an excellent red snapper. Although the shot was good, the fish is strong and heads off down the ledge. Immediately the chase is on, and Kent and Stephen trail the wounded fish. As Kent watches, the fish seeks shelter under the ledge. Another well-placed shot finishes the job, and Kent and Stephen have another prize for the stringer. Attracted by the commotion, a large spiny lobster ventures out from beneath a nearby portion of the ledge. It is illegal to spear a lobster, so Kent must wrangle the leggy creature with only his gloved hands. With time running out, Kent and Stephen begin their slow ascent through the water column. Kent zip ties the lobster to the stringer, and soon this exceptional catch is on its way to the surface. The lift bag shimmers as it passes from the cooler deep water into the warmer surface waters above. The pressure of the deep sea forces nitrogen from the diver's air supply into the diver's blood. As a result, Kent and Stephen cannot head directly to the surface. The sudden drop in pressure would cause the nitrogen in their blood to bubble and result in a fatal condition known as the bends. Instead, the divers must slowly ascend over a period of many minutes. This time allows the trapped nitrogen to dissipate naturally with every breath. The sound and sight of the boat circling overhead is a true comfort. Fear of toothy creatures from the deep takes a back seat to the fear of surfacing alone to an empty sea. Back on board, Stephen and Kent examine the excellent catch and recount the events of the dive. Few fishermen have the chance to visit the world from whence their trophies come, a fact not lost on these two underwater explorers.
Now, Kent, the dive you took me on, well, man, that was awesome. I tell you, I was nervous and scared and excited. You know, I was pumped up over seeing all the fish down there and all. Now, we were on a wreck. Which wreck was it?
Well, it's a wreck off the coast of Charleston. It's called the Anchor Wreck. It's been known as the Anchor Wreck for years because of the big anchors that were cargo on it. As of a couple of years ago, everybody referred to it as the Anchor Wreck, which we have discovered is actually the Leif Erikson is the name of the ship. It's a wonderful spearfishing spot, holds great fish, and many of the local divers know about it. And you'll see in this next clip.
Well, y'all harvested a bunch of fish, and I appreciate y'all letting me come and watch. Let's take a look.
Today, Jay joins Kent and dive team members Ari and Courtney on a dive trip to a wreck believed to be the Leif Erikson, a 19th century Norwegian steamer sunk off the coast of Charleston in 1905. News accounts from the time say the Leif Erikson was carrying sugar from Cuba to Philadelphia when it collided with another ship, the City of Everett, in dense fog on a cold February night. The wreck site consists of a long debris field punctuated by 3 large anchors near the bow and a massive steam engine and boilers amidships. Satisfied with the boat's position, the signal is given to drop the marker, and Kent, Jay, and Ari prepare for the dive. With a splash, the divers are headed toward the bottom, with the usual complement of amberjack following closely behind. The 3 men land near the twisted remains of the bow. Knowing that their time is limited, the divers immediately begin searching the debris field. As they soar over the broken wreckage, massive anchors come into view. Off the port side, a graceful southern ray effortlessly glides over the sand, followed closely by a large cobia. No one really knows why, but these 2 species can often be seen swimming together. The divers descend on the massive steam boilers that dominate the center of the wreck. A multitude of fish are drawn to the structure, and divers often find good hunting here. Suddenly, a loggerhead sea turtle emerges from a space beneath one of the boilers. With a few paddle strokes, the ungainly creature disappears into the distant gloom. The reason for the turtle's fast exit quickly becomes apparent when the divers discover a massive Goliath grouper has invaded the turtle's man-made cave. The Goliath is a protected species that can reach lengths in excess of 6 feet and weigh as much as 800 pounds. This relatively small one is in the 2 to 250 pound size range. They are also very inquisitive and show little fear of divers. Because of this, the Goliath species was heavily overfished until very recently. Fortunately, they seem to be making a comeback. Kent and Ari continue the hunt, searching the scattered debris field for something for the stringer. The divers check beneath iron plates and peer into every dark nook and cranny, hoping for a glimpse of a potential trophy. Kent notices a familiar shape buried in the sand, and with a well-placed spear comes up with an excellent flounder. As the fish fights on the end of the spear, wisps of green blood disperse into the water. Ari scans the gloom for signs of toothy intruders that might be attracted by the scent. The divers are lucky today, and no sharks appear to steal their catch. The divers reluctantly leave this fascinating underwater world.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed today's show, our underwater show. Kent, thank you so much for taking me.
No problem, Jay.
We had a great time. I look forward to going out with you again.
Yeah, anytime.
I'd also like to thank Rich Taylor for filming and putting this show together today for us. We couldn't have done it without you, Rich, and we thank you. Get out and enjoy your Carolina outdoors.